Good afternoon, everyone. Mario Quintero here with the One Stop Shop. Happy hour Thursday afternoon for our weekly show produced by marioshomenews.com. Good to be with you today. We got some real important information to share with all of you, especially our clients that purchased a home in 2020. This is really important information. So if you or somebody you know purchased a house in 2020 and they were the owner of record as of December 31st, this is really important because you have this month and the month of February in order to apply for your new Homestead Exemption, which will take place November 1st of 2021. So you literally have 2 months during this period in order to go online and apply for your homestead exemption. You're going to need your driver's license, a utility bill, possibly your warranty deed. And with those items, you can go right online. In Miami, you go to miamidade.gov and click on Home Exemptions or the Tax Appraisal's Office, and you could do everything right online. All this information that I'm going to share with you today is primarily for the state of Florida, and then depending on the county that you're in, you would have to go to the county website in order to make the application. As far as the rules for applying January through February, it's the same throughout the whole state of Florida. If you're in another state outside of Florida, you're going to have to check with your local government and state government to find out how these rules apply to you. This is primarily for the state of Florida. So if you're already been a homeowner who has been reporting your primary residence as your homestead property, you would have received this form, which is in English and Spanish. This is the one that I received at home, and it's called the 2021 Automatic Residential Renewal Receipt. What that means is that if nothing has changed and you're still in your primary residence, you don't have to do anything, and the homestead exemption will continue based on the tax bill that you got in November. And in October, that's effective November, and you don't have to do anything. So if you've been in the home for at least a couple of years and you have the homestead exemption, then there's nothing for you to do. Just file this paper as a receipt with your home documents that you did receive this, and there's been no changes on your part. Now, there are some items that a lot of people don't know that can give you additional exemptions and lower your taxes. So I'm going to go over a list of those additional exemptions now, because a lot of people are not aware that these exist and that you could automatically reduce your tax liability on your home additional because of these items. So the first one is, if you're an owner that's become disabled or have been disabled, you get an additional exemption for your disability. Senior citizens that become age 65 or older, you get an additional exemption for being 65 or older, okay? Veterans also get an additional exemption, and you can get all of these if you qualify for all of these different topics. If you're active duty military, you get an additional exemption. If you're a disabled first responder, police officer, fireman, whatever the category is of first responder that you become part of and you become disabled, you get an additional exemption. If your property is classified as a property with specialized uses, that property can get an additional exemption. If you widowed over the last year, okay, if your spouse passed away, unfortunately, then as the widow owner of record, you can get an additional widow exemption for this coming year, and you have to apply for all these additional exemptions before the end of February. If you are the surviving spouse of a first responder, you qualify for an additional homestead exemption. Okay? So all these additional exemptions, if you were already receiving a homestead exemption, but you qualify for any of these additional, you can go in online and apply for these between now and the end of February. So very important, because this can dramatically reduce your tax liability come November 1st of next year. And it could be a sizable amount of money depending on which one of these you qualify for. Now, if, again, you became a new homeowner in 2020 and you never owned a home before, then you have between now and the end of February to apply for your homestead exemption. Excuse me, we got a little technical pop-up window. So if you were a homeowner in 2020 and you sold your home, okay, and you bought a new home in 2020 before December 31st, then what you need to look at on the Miami-Dade website or the county that you reside, you need to look at the area called portability, because you'll be able to take based on their calculator in the county that you live in, you'll be able to transfer the taxes that you were paying on your old home to the new home, and you might get some additional credits for the portability and reduce your tax liability that way. So once again, if you have been getting homestead exemption, you need to figure out if you qualify for any of the additional exemptions. If everything stays the same and you receive your automatic residential renewal, there's nothing for you to do. If you're a brand new homeowner, you got January and February to go online and make your request for homestead exemption. If you don't do it by the end of February, you'll have to wait an entire year and a half before you qualify for the homestead exemption. This last part that I want to talk to you about is very important, and I have people ask me all the time, and I give them a very straight answer because the penalties are extremely stiff. So with the automatic residential renewal receipt, you get this letter in English and in Spanish, and it tells you the reasons why you would need to cancel your homestead exemption if any of these things occurred. So if the property was rented, you need to report that that's no longer your primary residence. If the property is not the permanent resident of the original applicant, you need to report it. If the original applicant has homestead exemption on another property, you need to report it. The benefit of tax credit in another state or Puerto Rico, you need to report it. The original applicant passed away, that needs to be reported by your representatives of the estate. And if the original applicant transferred ownership of the property by executing a deed but did not record it with the clerk of courts, it needs to be reported. This is a very serious matter, and I got to tell you, the penalties are 10 years worth of taxes. So if the taxes on the property are $3,000, the penalty will be $30,000 and a 15% interest on that money. So this is something that you need to take real serious. Don't let your neighbor or the person that walks the dog with you convince you that you could get away with this, because you're not. These are very serious matters. You're playing with state laws and stuff like that, and you need to be on top of it to get the maximum benefits and exceptions. But by the same token, there are things that you cannot do and are legally not able to do, so you need to be on the right side of the law so that you can get the maximum exemption without breaking the law. I hope you've liked this information. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them for you. Here, my number at the office is 305-598-1600. My cell phone number is 305-588-0451. I'll be more than happy to assist you. If any of our new clients that became homeowners in 2020 need additional information, you know how to locate me. I'm just a phone call or email or text away. For realtors that are listening out there, if you have clients that you represented in 2020 that became homeowners, it's very important that you coach them through this process, because it will definitely save them some money. All right. This video can be shared to your friends and family on Facebook, because you may have friends and family that did buy a home and they need to hear this information. If not, by tomorrow it should be up on our website, which is marioshomenews.com, and you could review this video in its entirety. Once again, Mario Quintero with the One Stop Shop, produced by marioshomenews.com. Thank you for tuning in. Have yourself a great weekend. And if you have any questions, you know where to reach me. Have a good one.